action. The first step of which is personal house cleaning, which many of us have never attempted. Though our decision was a vital and crucial step, it could make little permanent effect unless at once followed by a strenuous effort to face and be rid of the things in our lives which had been blocking us. Our liquor was but a symptom. We had to get down to the causes and conditions. Therefore, we started upon a personal inventory. This was step 4. A business which takes no regular inventory usually goes broke. Taking a commercial inventory is a fact-finding and fact-facing process. It is an effort to discover the truth about the stock in trade. One object is to disclose damaged or unsellable goods, to get rid of them promptly and without regret. If the owner of the business is to be successful, he cannot fool himself about values. We did exactly the same thing with our lives. We took stock honestly. First, we searched out the flaws in our makeup, which caused our failure. Being convinced that self, manifested in various ways, was what had defeated us, we considered its common manifestations. Okay, so they're talking about how to do an inventory. They're talking about how to do house cleaning. They're talking about searching out the flaws that have held us back. They're telling us that self, manifested in various ways, had defeated us. So here's the first one. Resentment is the number one offender. It destroys more alcoholics than anything else. From it stems all forms of spiritual disease. For we have been not only mentally and physically ill, we have been spiritually sick. When the spiritual malady is overcome, we straighten out mentally and physically. In dealing with resentments, we set them on paper. We listed people, institutions, principles with whom we were angry. We asked ourselves, why are we angry? And we wrote that down across from each one of the people, places, and things that we were angry about. When we asked ourselves why were we angry, in most cases, we found that it was our self-esteem, our money, our ambitions, our personal relations were hurt or threatened. So we were angry. We were burned up. On our grudge list, we set opposite each name our injuries. Was it our self-esteem, our security, our ambitions, our personal or sex relations, which had been interfered with? We were usually as definite as this example. We went back through our lives. Nothing counted but thoroughness and honesty. We were finished. When we were finished, we considered it carefully. Okay, we're going to stop there because now this is what you have to look at. Okay. This is what you have to do. You have to search your soul, and you have to sometimes what's easiest is if you're disturbed about a relationship with anybody, you write their name down. And then you think to yourself, is there somebody else I might be disturbed with? And you write their name down. And then the next person, you're writing their name down. You kind of go through your life and you're thinking about your past and now. You know what I mean? And an example, okay? Just an example, okay? Let's see here. Okay, here's an example. I'm mad at my dad. So you write Mark. Okay. Then the next thing is you write, what is the next thing? The cause, right? Is that what that says? The cause, okay. The cause. He was mad at me. He was mad at me for something I didn't do, okay? He was mad at me over a camera, okay? Blah, blah, blah. All right. He thought I stole the camera. All right. And I couldn't convince him that I didn't. Okay. Then you go to the next line, next column. Okay. What did that affect? Well, that affected everything. I couldn't, it affected, it burned me up. It made me mad because it affected the trust. It affected my self-esteem. It affected my security. That's the trust. Okay. It affected personal relation. If he couldn't trust me, then how were we to be? What kind of relationship would we have if he can't trust me and I can't trust him to know the truth? Fear, okay. It made me afraid that, that there was no relationship, that it made me afraid. Do you see how that could work? Okay. All right, so now you got homework. And when the first time I did it, I had so many people on it, okay? It took me 2 months to write all the people and what they had done. And my sponsor, I was meeting every week, and my sponsor would ask me, "You got that inventory done?" And I would say, "No, I'm still working on it." "No, I'm still working on it." "No, I'm still working on it." Finally, he had to say, "You're going to be done with the inventory next week." Oh. But it felt good, because I thought I was right in my anger. See what I'm saying? It felt really, really good to write that inventory. That's why I continued taking my time on it, because it felt good. to go back in my past and write everything that pissed me off, about my dad, my mom. And it seemed like everybody in my life I had some anger at. So it felt really it felt really, really satisfying to be writing it all down. It was a weird feeling. So you've got that page, you've got it marked so you can reread what I just read, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it continues to the next page too. I think I read. How does that start on the top?
We went through our lives, nothing counted but thoroughness and honesty.
No, the next page. How does that start?
To conclude that others were wrong was as far as most of us ever got.
Okay, stop there. Okay. Yeah, that's after you get it all written out, then you'll come to that conclusion.
Okay.
But it's not good to jump ahead.
Okay.
Okay. It'll take away from the satisfaction you feel.
Okay.
Let's see, you could, maybe there was a Missy in your life or something, or maybe there was a Deborah.